Good afternoon, my name is Taisha Edwards, and today I'm going to be discussing the critical analysis of Lee Poe's Fighting South of the Ramparts. The art of war and the act of fighting a meaningless battle is what Lee Poe is denouncing in Fighting South of the Ramparts. He is denouncing the art of war through the vividly grisly description of the aftermath of a senseless war. The art of war theory asserts that society should embrace war because life is war. People blindly following a cause based on another's beliefs and desire for power can result in unnecessary death. Moreover, being vulnerable can make manipulation an easy task. However, having a healthy mind and a sense of self can lead to the betterment of humanity. If more people denounce the art of war, they will be able to end senseless killings, use their discernment to make their own decisions, and avoid situations that are harmful, which will result in a peaceful society. Bloodshed and despair are the atmospheres described by Poe. Open quote. Crows and hawks peck for human guts and hang them on the branches of withered trees. End quote. Poe. This eerie visualization of the battlefield of war can convey to the audience that the act of war is senseless and inhumane. One art of war principle that he is denouncing is that man's life is war, and it is about survival and evolution. Clearly, what is occurring is a misunderstanding of natural selection and cruel demise. Through the descriptive powers that he possesses, he can make a person never want to witness such acts of senseless violence, therefore improving humanity. By reducing the intensity and bringing peace to society, it can flourish in many ways. Economically, more people may be drawn to the area because it is safe, and more businesses will bring revenue for the city. Blindly following a wolf in sheep's clothing can be the detriment to humanity. Sun Tzu stressed that the primary aspect of war was psychological, not physical. But by allowing a person to have complete psychological control over one can cause inhumane acts to manifest in the physical world. Open quote. The general skinned in vain, therefore the sword is a cursed thing. Close quote. Poe. Most individuals who seek validation from another can be dangerous to say the least and cause a disastrous end. In 1978, over 900 men, women, and children were murdered in Jonestown, Guyana. This group belonged to a church that overly embraced the communist ideology, called the People's Temple, led by Jim Jones. Jones was a master manipulator. He targeted the group of people. He targeted the group that had the most gullible and vulnerable mind. This group was African Americans. Before he started his congregation, he attended black churches and viewed healings and sermons that inspired the oppressed group of individuals. From his findings, he saw that those things attracted people and their money. Some of the beneficial things that attracted blacks were the fact that his church was integrated and that he helped people with their addiction to drugs, which strengthened their devotion to him. Yet he slowly discontinued the teachings of Christianity and started implementing his own lessons. He also used the threat of nuclear war to cause paranoia and keep his congregation in a state of constant alert. This is a denouncement of war. This cruel leader had similar principles as Sun Tzu, which was life is war. This led to the mass murder of hundreds with a mixture of Kool-Aid and cyanide poisoning. This was only possible because of this predator targeting a group that was neglected and abused and beaten down mentally. They did not have a sense of self-worth because it was ingrained in them to feel worthless. Art of war is life is war. People will feel worthless because they will think that their life is nothing more than fighting a battle based on someone else's beliefs. Even today, people continue to mislead vulnerable people with weak minds. One can manipulate a weak-minded person to do anything. They can rob, steal, and kill, all for the benefit of another person. Yet, if more people learn to strengthen their minds by learning themselves and knowing their worth, issues like the Guyana tragedy can be prevented today. By denouncing the art of war and its principles, people can use their discernment to make their own decisions. By strengthening the mind, one will be able to understand that what one chooses to follow is harmful to themselves or others. In the black community, the youth have a problem with wanting to be accepted. Children who come from broken homes can easily be attracted to gang life. The gangs offer a family that many adolescents desperately crave. During the formative years, the mind can easily be influenced by all the wrong things, since they have a jaded mentality. They allow the gang leader to make their decisions for them. Open quote, consequently, such alienation manifests into low self-esteem and self-hate. Low self-esteem and self-hate in the pursuit of physical and material success without consequences are factors which have manifested themselves in increased homicide rates among black youth. Close quote. They make children sell drugs and even commit murder to prove their loyalty to the organization. This is a denouncement of the art of war. The principle that is being denounced is war is life. In gang culture, their lifestyle is to be at war with the enemy continuously. Open quote, the general schemed the vain, therefore the sword is a cursed thing which the wise man only uses if he must. End quote, Poe. If the children find positive resources in their community, the size of the gangs will significantly diminish. Children that learn their self-worth can choose things for the betterment of their future, such as school, creative activities, and extracurricular hobbies. In conclusion, Lee Poe's The Fighting of the Rampart is denouncing the art of war because the art of war is a harmful and destructive thing. Vulnerable minds can easily be susceptible to these pernicious principles. The empowerment of those weak minds can end the senseless deaths and horrible decisions. This will ultimately cause peace and happiness, which improves society. Okay.